welcome along to another video. I am that Cycling Chimp, and in this one my route is going to be a 53-kilometre round trip. I'm inviting every single one of you that's watching this to join me in this solo adventure in the Scottish Highlands as I take on yet another challenge. So if you want to find out a little bit more, or maybe you're new to the channel and you would just like to see Scotland by bike, you've came to the right place. So stick around, grab yourself a cuppa, kick back and relax, and let's get the show on the road. Today's adventure, I have travelled all the way from the southwest coast of Scotland to the heart of Scotland in Loch Lomond in the Trossachs. Base camp I've set up at Loch Katrine. In today's route, I plan to circumnavigate the loch, take in some gravel, and then take in one of my biggest challenges at the end, the Duke's Pass. First off, I need to get suited and booted before we get going. There is a couple of points of interest and historical kind of things as well about Loch Katrine that I want to go and check out as well. So without further ado, let's get myself kitted up. Well, that's me suited and booted and ready to ride out. So let's clip in and see what today brings. So looking at the map here for Loch Katrine, we're starting down at the visitors car park and we're going to circumnavigate all the way up to Glengyle in the Dhu and then start heading back towards Aberfoyle. Once I get to Aberfoyle, I'm going to take on the challenge of the Duke's Pass. Now, this is one I've been wanting to do for quite some time, and when my fitness was hit pretty badly the last month or two, I didn't think I was going to be able to do this season, so we're just going to see how we get on. As you can see behind me, we have the visitor centre car park for Loch Katrine that's got facilities. It's a pay and display car park as well. I think it was about £8, which seems quite a lot of money for parking your car, but it does go to a good cause. You can also hire bikes out here as well, but I've got the Green Hornet with me because I know what I'm riding, and there's a little cafe restaurant as well. And another thing is, you can look across just there and you can see like a harbour, and the reason that's there is they do boat tours of the loch on the Sir Walter Scott, which is a paddle steamer I believe. There's another couple of little boats there as well that must do tours, but yeah, I'm looking forward to this one today. Apparently this cycleway up the side of Loch Katrine is traffic free as well, so it's definitely going to be a good day out. Anyway, let's go. I've literally not even done 100 feet and straight away the views are absolutely fantastic. Look at this. That there is Ben Venue. I'm pretty sure we'll see the backside of that in a little while. Weather today, well, it's going to be a bit hit and miss according to the forecast. I've been watching it for the last couple of days and it's supposed to be sporadic showers. But then again, it is September and it's Scotland and it's the Highlands, so anything's possible. I've got my little rain jacket anyway, just in case. So tranquil out here, and I love how the Garmin's just saying 17 kilometres turn left. So it's a pretty straight road. The reason I decided to come to Loch Katrine today, I actually had two routes in mind. I wanted to go back to Aberfoyle for some gravel. As I said at the beginning of the video, I really wanted to challenge myself, and I've had the Duke's Pass on my list for quite some time. Apparently it is the 4th greatest climb in the UK. Don't know if that's true or not, but I found that information on the internet. The other route I was thinking was doing another gravel expedition in Aberfoyle using one of Kerry McPhee's maps. But we'll hold off for that just now. I will be doing a little bit of gravel today and I'm looking forward to that as well. But we've had quite heavy rain the last couple of days, so it's not going to be a fast rolling, dry and dusty track, so I'm not too sure with the tyres that I've got on I'll be able to go as fast as I would like on the gravel. I'm of course using the Schwalbe G1 all-round tyres, but they do feel a bit floaty today and maybe I've overinflated them slightly. But so far, enjoying the ride. Nice little warm-up. According to Climb Pro, I've got 5 climbs today, and I know the last one, which is the Duke's Pass, doesn't look very nice at all. As a certain somebody always says, just one pedal stroke at a time. I'm pretty sure we'll go over it. I just had to stop for a little second, and it's audience participation time, because I'm not too sure if this is or is not. But if you let me know in the comments below, I think what I'm looking at just now, and I'll show you, is the back of Ben Lomond, which is the highest Munro in the most southern part of the Highlands. I'm pretty sure that's the back of Ben Lomond there. Again, looking across here, we've got the side of Ben Venue. There's definitely a lot more visibility this time, considering the last time that I come up it was drizzly rain when I done Aberfoyle at the tail end of last year. It's just magnificent looking. It really does humble you when you see the size of these hills. Of course, down in Arrochar we've only got rolling hills. We don't really have any of these big mountains, apart from Goat Fell across in Arran, but on the mainland it's just rolling, 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 rolling. Anyway. Ow. Well, I was going to stay on the road, but then I seen this little slither of single track, and according to Komoot, it's the way I'm supposed to be going. So let's see how we go on here. It is literally right next to the edge of the loch, and I'm looking over to what I think is Ben Lomond, and it looks as if the heavens have just opened. So this is going to be good. The rain looks so bad. It's actually white. That's how heavy it is. But we'll see how we get on. This little single track path's absolutely brilliant. Now that there was an absolutely fantastic little bit of single track. You can take the road, which I really should have taken because that's exactly what Komoot was asking me to do, but I like to get a little bit of fun as we're cycling as well. I'm just about to hit my first climb, which apparently is 790 metres long, and it's only a wee one at 35 metres ascent. So, yay, warm up complete and we're ready to go. And also, with that little single track path, I'll update the Komoot map with that. And if you want to try this route, as always, I'll put the GPX file via Komoot down below. There are other third-party apps that will do the same with the GPX file, but I just seem to be using Komoot a lot more. Right, first climb. Yeah, I'm 100% positive that's Ben Lomond over there now. Because I think that could be the Arrochar Alps. I can't really see the tops. I think that could be the cobbler that's obscured by the cloud. It's definitely a lot better this time being up, and you can actually see some of the hills and the climbs. It's just an absolutely fantastic path. As I said, it's not really traffic free because cars can't drive up and down. There's a few holiday cottages on it, but I've not seen one car yet. And I can count the amount of cyclists I've encountered and walkers on one hand. It's really nice to get the place to yourself. And then we've got 10 kilometres and then we'll stop for a little drink, because the first point of interest is pretty close. And this one's a doozy. Well, that's me stopped in the small hamlet of Glengyle at the head of Loch Katrine. And there's a reason that I've stopped here, because it was here in 1671 a very prominent and special person was born. Now, a lot of the local people that watch these videos will probably know who it is straight away when I say the name, Robert McGregor. Now, if you don't know who Robert McGregor is, for the Americans that watch this, you'll probably know him as Rob Roy McGregor. And it's said that he was born here. Now, Robert McGregor, I could do a whole video on, and I probably will do at some point, but I'm not going to do that today. What I will say is he's probably most famously known as the Scottish Robin Hood. Bit of an outlaw, bit of a cheeky character as well if you read the history books with some of the things that he'd done. But he's probably one of the most famous kind of historic figures of Scotland. He died on the 28th of December 1734, and he's buried literally just up the road in Balwhidder. Now, I'll probably end up there at some point in the future, because I've got a little route that Balwhidder is going to be a stop-off point, so you'll need to stay tuned for that one. I'm just going to stop for a couple of seconds because I can smell petrior, which is the smell of rain coming in, and it looks as if it's pretty heavy. Hitting the water just over by, so I'm going to shelter under these trees for a little bit just as it passes over. And another little known fact about Rob Roy, that was actually his nickname, and that derives from the Gaelic term rua, which is red, and it was said that he had a ginger beard and ginger hair, or red coloured hair, so that's where the Rob Roy came from. Every day's a school day when you're watching the chimp. Anyway, we'll let this little shower passes and then we'll move on. Another thing I've noticed as well is the midges are out in force today. I'm wearing my shorts and they're starting to eat my legs alive, so I'm going to use some of the smidge, and this stuff is absolutely brilliant apparently, to try and keep them off me. I didn't really notice any of them until I stopped, and then I've just been attacked. But yeah, we'll try some of this on and see how we get on. And as always, that's one for the fans with the legs. We'll see how we go on with this. I think the rain's just passed over us, so I'm going to clip in and see how much further we can get without getting wet. I've just turned and came to the opposite side of Loch Katrine, and we're looking across the water there to Glengyle. Now, that's not the original house that Robert McGregor was born in. That's actually been built since. It's a lovely little area to come and visit. I better get my skates on because, as you can see, I thought I was going to miss that rain. Obviously I'm not. Cheers. We're just about to leave Loch Katrine and start heading over behind Loch Katrine. Now, to give you a couple of facts before I leave Loch Katrine, it's actually owned by Scottish Water, And everybody that's watching this, and I know a lot of the people from Glasgow will know this, but that water that comes out your tap in Glasgow, it's this loch that supplies it. And that lovely pint of Tennent's Lager, yep, the very same water that's in it as well. So it just shows you, it goes through the filtration process of Scottish water, down through the aqueducts towards the city, but this is the source of your tap water. And again, talking about water, this rain is actually chasing me down. Let's get clipped in and try and get to the drier stuff. It really is like 4 seasons in one day today. Yes, I am wet. And here comes the fun, because we're just about to hit the single track down past Loch Katrine. And the rain's still coming in, as you can see, big cloud. I've not been able to find any shelter yet, just to kind of step inside it for a little bit and let it pass over. So we're just going to push ahead. I'm not putting my jacket on yet. I'd rather it was absolutely soaked. And I've got my bare legs out, so that's better than any gore shake dry. So let's see how we're going to go on with this gravel. I've not done proper gravel in a little while. This is going to be fun. Just got to the top of that little hill there, and I can definitely tell you these G1 tyres are not fit for the gravel. I'm definitely going to be changing back to my Ramblers if I'm going to be doing some of this stuff in the winter time. When I did get to the top of the hill, I did see there's a little plaque here, which is the Statute Labour Road, a view fit for a queen. And it's a magnificent panorama across Loch Katrine to the Arrochar Alps. So the hills you see out there in the distance, that's the Arrochar Alps, the cobbler. And it does look pretty majestic with the way that the light's hitting it just now. It's definitely a different view of the Arrochar Alps that I've seen. I've climbed the cobbler once in my life, and I would like to do it again. I don't think you can do it on a bike though. Right, time to push on. I think we've got quite a lot of this chunky single track to get through before we get to the fire roads again and the Forestry Commission gravel roads. Now they're fun. Now here's one for you. I have never seen this in my life before. I have seen The Wizard of Oz and I know the song Over the Rainbow, but I've never been above a rainbow before. That rain that was behind me, unbelievably, there's a rainbow underneath. And because I'm that high up, it looks as if I'm above it. I have never seen that in my life before. I wouldn't say just as incredible as yet this other view of the Arrochar Alps. That's just absolutely spectacular, looking all the way down Loch Katrine. And the thing is, all the Tam Weir books I've been reading recently, it describes it so meticulously, but it's not until you actually see it with your own eyes you understand. I mean, you've always got a vision when you're reading words, but there is no words for that. Yo, 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 yo. Now that was some tasty single track. Certain parts of that, including the tree trunk at the end, was something else. Had to do a lot of balancing acts on it as well. More so because one side there was a small ditch, maybe about 3 or 4 feet. The opposite side, and I know my mother will be watching this, there was a 50-foot drop. So let's just say we nearly had a full bib. That's us back onto what I think is the fire roads. I actually have an idea of where this is going to bring me out. But when you're in the hills like this, if you don't have a map, you get disorientated pretty quickly. You've only got the hills at the side of you, if you know what they are, which I don't. I have established that is Ben Lomond. I know we're heading in the right direction because I think I've been out this way before when I done Aberfoyle. We're just about hitting our climb. Okay. I am one wet chimp. Well, we may have got caught in a little shower there. I am absolutely drooked. I'm not that far away from Aberfoyle, so I'm just going to stop. But I had to stop here because this is a pet peeve that I've seen, especially when you're up in Loch Lomond in the Trossachs area. And I know it's a bugbear of a lot of people. Look at this. Now, somebody's had a lovely day out here when it's been nice. They've had a lovely barbecue as well by the looks of things. And they've just left the rubbish here. Now that, no pun intended, is an absolute waste. Now there is a code when you're in the Scottish wilderness, and that is always clean up after yourself. God knows what kind of wildlife's going to get into that. I certainly don't leave any of my stuff, and I'm pretty sure the viewers at home, they're the same when they come up here. So, if you're out and about, remember to take it home and bin it. It's nearly as bad as a rant. In fact, that's actually more of a rant than the dog poop that I stood on in the last video. I just don't understand people sometimes. Anyway, rant over. I've got about 1.5 miles to get to Aberfoyle. I'm going to try and find somewhere to be undercover and have my piece de resistance. And the difference being is, I'll be putting my rubbish in the bin. As we made it to Aberfoyle, I'm getting a little bit of respite underneath a bus shelter. Quite a lot of the places are busy, coffee shops and that, so I'm not going to get into any. For I have the piece de resistance. I went to GR Eggs before I come up, and I got myself a tasty oval bite. This one is a sweet and spicy chicken. And always wash it down with a can of Coke, because I need to get my energy up for doing the Duke's Pass. So I'm going to tuck into this just now, because you don't really want to see me eating. Let it digest. Looks as if the sun's coming back out to get some heat and dryness, and then we'll tackle this last climb. That was a fantastic little roll. Definitely good fuel. And oh, I found something. Absolutely covered in wasps, but it doesn't deter me for putting it in the bin. Remember to clean up after yourselves. Right, I'm going to finish my can of Coke, then I'm going to have a quick trip to the toilet, then we're going to tackle this Duke's Pass. Looking at the Climb Pro, yeah, it's certainly going to be spicy. Not as spicy as that roll, fair enough. Ooh, a bit too spicy. Well, that's me had my toilet break. Dried off a little bit. Now it's time to saddle up, clip in and take on this pass. I think this is going to be one of the most challenging hills I've ever done, so let's see how we get on. It's definitely a spicy hill. Oh, got 2.5 kilometres to go, 127 metres of elevation, and I'm lucky if I'm doing about 4 miles an hour. Good thing is, I've just re-tarmacked all this road recently by the looks of it, so it's a lot smoother than I remember. But yeah, it's definitely climbing. Now, as I said earlier on in the video, this is apparently the 4th greatest climb in Great Britain, especially Scotland. It opened up in the 19th century when Victorian holidaymakers would come out this neck of the woods, and it was the easiest way to get them over to Loch Katrine from Aberfoyle. Any other way they would have to have went round a long, long way. But some of the views at the top of this, as you're going over the pass, are absolutely spectacular. I'm just hoping that the cloud maybe clear a little bit so you can see some of it. So far, the road hasn't been too busy. There has been a few tour buses going towards Loch Katrine, obviously to pick up the tourists from the excursions that they have there. But it is just absolute pure wilderness, middle of nowhere material. It's just an absolute excellent cycle. I've got 1.5 kilometres and 55 metres left to get to the top, and it's not as hard as I thought it was going to be. I'm not saying it's easy by any means, but I have cycled up steeper. I just thought with my drop in fitness the last couple of weeks, it would have been a real struggle for me, but I'm okay so far. I'm not at the top yet. This is the reason the Duke's Pass is so spectacular looking. Now, I'm going to show you some more hills in a moment when I turn this bend. This is the Queen Elizabeth Forest in the heart of Loch Lomond in the Trossachs. And I dare anybody to say in the comments, this isn't beautiful. And I'm going to say one other thing as well. In about 2 or 3 weeks' time, because this is the first week in September, all this is going to be golden brown. Textured like sun. Now, a small sliver of the road is going down there. We've got a little bit to go down before we take on our last climb. But this has been an absolute cracking cycle today, honestly. I would say the rain was the biggest bugbear, but it's been absolutely spectacular, the views. The only issue is now I'm getting eaten alive again by midges, and I've got a clegg that's been following me for a little while. But it's definitely just something else. Now I did say we would see the back of Ben Venue on the way back down. And there we go, right in front of us. Big storm clouds above it. I actually just looked over the back of Ben Ann. I'll show you that in a little second. And it looks as if the rain is biblical. So I think I'm in for another soaking. That small dumpling-like hill just up there is Ben Ann. Apart from Ben Lomond, it's probably the most accessible and one of the easiest hills to climb. That's why everybody climbs it. I've done it a few times myself in my younger days. And this was one of the reasons I was keeping this rain jacket, because I knew I was going to get a thundery downpour. Remember, I'm a smart chimp. Right, another 2 or 3 miles, let's get back to the car. Well, that's us back to Loch Katrine. Somewhat damper than we were when we left. We've got to the end of the video. I'd just like to thank you all for sticking around and keeping me company today, because it was a bit of a testing solo adventure, especially through that single track. I will say one thing. It was probably the most fun I've had in gravel for a little while, and I'll definitely be coming back up this way. If you enjoyed today's video, give us a huge thumbs up, and if you really enjoyed it, consider subscribing and hitting the wee notification bell as well for the next video. I genuinely can't thank you enough for all the support that you've gave me so far. And as I said, if you want to try this route out, I'll leave the Komoot GPX down at the bottom, and you can do what you want with that if you want to try this out. But I would suggest anybody that's into gravel, definitely try this route, because it was great. The Duke's Pass, I'm not saying it was the hardest hill that I've ever done, but it was definitely testing, and I would definitely like to do it again. I think I could have got a little bit more speed coming down the other side had the heavens not opened up just before we come into Loch Katrine. Hope to see you all in the next one. In the meantime, you can check out my last video up there with a very special guest, or you can check out previously on that Cycling Chimp, which are archived videos. Until the next time, guys, I'm going to get changed and start heading back down to the coast. Bye for now. And remember to pedal smart out there.